So a lot of Christians are gonna hear this and instantly go, Christians in Hollywood, the Illuminati, the blood rituals, all this stuff, right?
Ruslan.
What was the transition like? Because now you're doing stuff in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Was that fairly seamless, or was there kind of some transitionary phase?
Nah, honestly, I wasn't even trying to get into Hollywood when I like before I got out. I got my bachelor's. Used the military benefits to get my bachelor's, and then I started my master's before I got out as well. And so my brother-in-law, he's a multimillionaire. He's a YPOer, stands for Young Presidents Organization. Or there's chapters all across the world. In order to get in, you have to be a billionaire under the age of 40 to get in Young Presidents Organization. And so he started getting me these consulting gigs with his company and his buddies' companies from different YPOers and stuff like that. So my plan when I got out was to go into business consulting, essentially taking special operations principles like teamwork, communication, all that stuff, and translating them in a way that applies to business.
Oh, that's dope.
And so, but I didn't want to just be the Navy SEAL. I wanted to have some educational backing as well. So that's why I was getting my master's in organizational strategy.
Got it.
So, when I got out, I was in grad school, and that was January 2016. And then, I had a good savings. So my wife's a doctor. She was I want to say she was either in residency or the end of residency, or maybe she had just started her career as a doctor. And so we had some good coin there. And then I had the post 9/11 GI Bill that was giving me money every month as long as I was in school. So I didn't need to work. And so fast forward to May of 2016, I'm in my office writing papers. And this lady reaches out to me. She's like, hey, Michael Bay's looking for former SEAL with your background and work on Transformers the last night. Are you available tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, I ain't got nothing going on. I'm writing papers for school.
Yeah.
And so she's like, all right, send me some pictures. So I sent her some pictures. She was like, all right, Bay approved you. Come tomorrow to set. Gave me the address and everything. Next day, I'm on set in L.A.
Wow.
And it wasn't L.A. It was outside of L.A., this desert. And so that one day turned into 3 weeks. Because Bay brought me back. It was like, yo, I like working with this dude. Let's bring him back for 3 weeks. So I did a week in Arizona, 2 weeks in Michigan. At the end of the third week, the casting lady approached me and was like, yo, Bay wants to keep you on until we wrap. Can you stay on it? So I stayed on the film until December. So that was my first project. And that was kind of how I got into business.
And you were a consultant on that or an actor?
I was a consultant / actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like folks see the movie, they'll see you in it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I got lines in it and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, So, yeah, man, that was kind of how. And then once you work on a project like that and people hear your name, then, there's always directors and producers who are looking for like somebody with your experience to come consult on a project. Maybe another guy's not available. Can you come do it? And so I just started, that's how my career started progressing. And I started consulting and then more and acting more, did another film with Bay and started working in volunteering with different human trafficking nonprofits at the same time. And then, and yeah, man. And then before I know it, I was like, you know what? I need to teach myself screenwriting because before I would start working on a project, I would get sent the screenplay. So I would read these screenplays. I'd be like, dude, I really feel like I could write better than this. I had already written Transform, my books. I was just like, let me take a crack at screenwriting. So I got the master class and did Aaron Sorkin's master class and Shonda Rhimes and a bunch of other people. And then I freaking started subscribing to YouTube channels on screenwriting and storytelling and that's how and I wrote my first screenplay and then wrote another screenplay. And then, one of my screenplays got optioned and I wrote another, then I got hired to write another screenplay where it got me into the WGA. And then I was like, all right, I want to be a writer. I want to be a director because I wrote a screenplay that got optioned by a major producer, but it was hard to get a director attached because, there's only but so many directors that Hollywood will trust with an $80 million budget. And there's so many projects that people are trying to get made. So I was just like, screw it. I'm going to teach myself how to direct. So I directed my first short film, The Unexpected, organ harvesting film. Wanted to focus on because I was volunteering with different human trafficking nonprofits. And then that film got picked up to be a feature film. And then other stuff started happening. So it was a progression. It started out as a consultant / actor, then became a writer and then / producer and then progressed to now being a writer, director, and producer.
That's incredible. Yeah. So a lot of Christians are going to hear this and instantly go, Christians in Hollywood, the Illuminati, the blood rituals, all this stuff, right? How are you able to navigate that terrain? I mean, I'm not obviously some of the conspiratorial stuff that people say, but how are you able to navigate that terrain as a Christian who's unapologetic about his faith in these spaces?
Yeah, I don't experience all that stuff. I mean, I've never seen or heard of rituals, or I've never seen blood rituals or any of this crazy stuff that people throw out there. As far like, I just do my job, man. I just look at it like a job, like anything else. You know what I mean? Like, I show up, I do my job with excellence, I go home. Like, I don't live in LA. I live in San Diego. I don't do the party thing.
You think they'll invite you to the rituals if you lived in LA?
I don't know.
I'm joking.
Maybe, but
you're not in the mix enough. We got to be more in Hollywood.
I mean, I don't know. I just know that, like, I'm about my business.
Yeah.
And then I'm about storytelling and using story to impact people. Yeah. And so, like, I don't hang around. Yeah. You know, like, even when I'm like, most of the projects that I've worked on don't film in LA anyway. Like, I filmed in Italy, you know, I filmed in Abu Dhabi, I filmed in Morocco, I filmed in Puerto Rico, you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of the projects I work on don't even film. And even when I'm out there, you know what I mean? It's like, I go to set, do my job, come back to my hotel and work or FaceTime with my family. Yeah. So, like, that's essentially how I navigate it. You
just mind your business.
I just mind my business.
Mind your business.
Saying? And do my job and you know, and don't judge, and you know what I mean? And you know, and that's it. You know, and
I think there's an opportunity for Christians to recapture narrative and story.
Yeah, 100%.
As a way to help articulate the gospel, whether overtly through things like Jesus Revolution and The Chosen, or maybe not as overtly through just testimony and story. And I think we've done ourselves a disservice by fleeing media, by moving away from entertainment, by being afraid of these things. You know,
or even worse, by cheesing it up, by creating content that is not palatable to a wide audience. It's only palatable to a certain group of audiences. That's why, like, that was one of my fights with my publisher for Transform. It was like, they were like, well, we don't want the cursing in there. We don't want the crazy stuff you did in there. I was like, yo, but listen, I was like, it's called Transformed.
Hey, did you know that you can watch videos like this on the Spotify app? We now are on Spotify under Ruslan Bless God Podcast. So if you're driving and you want to go back and forth between listening to the podcast and just the audio or watching the video, consider doing it now on the Spotify app, as well as all podcast platforms. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.
You know what I mean? Like, how can there be a transformation?
They got to read the book to get the whole transformation.
How can they be transformed if I'm watering down who I was for a small group of people? You know, when I say I don't mean like I mean like buyers for this book. Like, I'm trying to write this book for everybody, right? And so I think that, you know, that's been an issue in Hollywood. Dudes, beyond all honesty, the worst business situations I've had in Hollywood have been with Christians.
Really?
100%.
Tell me more. Tell me why.
Well, you know, you get people that are like, yo, I'm a Christian, you're a Christian, let's do this. And either A, they're manipulative, they use it as a ticket to try to get in, or B, they suck at what they do.
This is what we're going to title this clip, "The Dark Side of Christians in Hollywood."
They suck at what they do.
Man.
They don't perform with excellence.
Yikes.
We're just going to pray that everything, and God's going, it's like, no, man, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort. You got to write a good script. You got to tell a good story. You got to get good lenses. You got to get, like, it's not like they're always trying to cut corners. It's like, you know what I mean? And going back to, again, I think what's helped me in Hollywood is, dude, the teams. I just show up on time, do your job with excellence. Don't be judging people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And things work. And dude, I get guys to this day, dudes to this day who I serve with, like, call me, yo, Remi, like, can I come to church with you? Or, yo, can you pray for me? These are guys who, like, didn't want to have nothing to do with God at all. Like, yo, can you pray with me? You know, and guys who, like, I never thought that they would, like, come to the Lord, and, like, I see him on social media now and they're like loving Jesus, you know what I mean? And these are guys that, and they tell me, they was like, I had a guy reach out, message me one time. He's like, yo, dude, he was like, I treated you like he didn't treat me bad, but he was like, yo, I made fun of you behind your back sometimes because you were Christian and like, you know, and this and that. And I know I was not rude to you, but like I would curse around you and do all of these things, you know what I mean? Like to try and like tempt you. But he's like, dude, I want you to know that like I became a Christian.
That's dope.
And he's like, and one of the only reasons why is because I reflected on how you would walk and how much peace you always had.
Yeah.
And I was in a really, really dark place, and I just wanted that. And what was brought to my memory was the way you lived your life.
That's good.
Like the way you lived your life preached to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You never judged me. You never got in my face. You never told me I'm going to hell or any of that stuff. You just loved me.
Yeah.
And he's like, now I want to, you know, walk with the Lord.
That's dope. I mean, I think it's like being in the world, but not of the world.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think a lot of Christians have really, I don't know, they've just messed up the way to do ministry. And like I said, it all comes back to, in my opinion, first and foremost, the first way you preach to anybody is the way you live your life. And it's not just, oh, I'm not gonna drink. It's like, no, I'm gonna do what I do with excellence.
Yeah.
And when I do what I do with excellence, that's gonna draw, people are attracted to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I say all that to say, I follow that template in the teams.
Yep.
And I saw how guys who didn't follow that template in the teams were like the worst teammates. You know what I mean? And I try to follow that template in Hollywood.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Show up on time, do my job with excellence, don't judge anybody.
Yeah.
You know, preach by the way I live my life, and things will work out. And I feel like that's why I haven't really had any problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because of that.
Yeah, that's dope. I think the beautiful part about that is that becomes a relational evangelism to it.
Yeah.
And I think the tricky part can be if people ask, we're supposed to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
The issue is sometimes people won't ask.
Yeah.
Nor do we have enough relational equity and trust.
Yeah.
And then we'll offer up opinions that people didn't ask for, or give them too much truth than they're ready to handle. You know, so I think it's like this tension that we have to live in of let me love you and accept you as you are. You know, and then over time we build the relational aspect. And then if you ask me, we might talk about it. You know, or if we have enough relationship, where I think oftentimes Christians we're like socially stunted. Yeah. We don't pick up on any of the basic social cues, tact, relationship, trust. And so we'll just go in with this very used car salesman sales, and the judgment kind of comes out of that.
Exactly.
Because if I am convinced that you're going to hell, I should want to tell you about Jesus. But how I do that is super duper important.
100%.
And if I also don't believe that God is ultimately providential and sovereign and can do what he wants and moves how he wants and might have me in people's lives for seasons and not for, I got this one shot to be in front of this one guy. I got to make sure I tell him. You know, it's like, it's almost out of this this insecurity and overcompensation, it seems
100%.
like what you're describing.
No, 100%.
Hey, if you want to see the extended version of this podcast, completely unedited, consider partnering with us in our online community for as little as $5 a month. In exchange, you get access to these podcasts as we stream them live before anyone else gets to see them. You get access to the replay of our daily after party streams, access to our private Discord server, access to discount codes, and so much more. So help us continue contextualizing the gospel through media, podcasting, and YouTube, and partner with us for as little as $5 a month. Also, be sure to follow us on the Spotify podcast app, on Facebook, and on Instagram. We're constantly posting content there that I think you'll find extremely valuable. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.